Dr. John Kwakye, thank you so much for sitting with us. So let's understand this. Can you put the Cedi crisis in perspective in terms of its severity and the history, how we have gotten to this point?
Yeah, certainly. You know, the Cedi's problem goes back, several decades. In fact, we can go as far back as when the Cedi was introduced by Kwame Nkrumah in 1965. Before that, we were using the pound, the Ghana pound, as our currency. Now, not long after, well, a couple of years after 65, that's 71, when Busia then was in power, he devalued the currency because it was already overvalued. In other words, it had depreciated. And you will see the difference between, if you have an official exchange rate, there will also be a black market rate. So when that gap is so wide, you can really see that your currency is, the official value is overvalued. So Busia devalued the currency. And that led to his overthrow by Achampong. He cited it as one of the reasons he overthrew Busia in 71. So when he removed Busia in 72, he revalued the currency, Achampong. Yeah, since then, the military regimes that came into power, well, they maintained virtually a fixed exchange rate. So up to 1983, we exchange rate. And the exchange rate was then 2.75 cedis to a dollar. Then since 1983, we started liberalizing the foreign exchange market, and we adopted a flexible exchange rate regime. So since then, the Cedi started depreciating. We allowed it because it was a flexible exchange rate regime. And from the 2.75 in 1983, by 2007, when we redenominated, it had gone up to 10,000. So from 2.75 in 1983 to 10,000 in 2007. And that's why we knocked off 4 zeros, from the currency, and then introduced this new Ghana currency that was almost at par, one-on-one with the dollar. And since then, so like from one to one until today, when we have 10 to 1. And today's 10 cedis is 100,000. So even from 2007, we've moved from 1 to 1, which was then 10,000, to 100,000. It tells you that the Cedi depreciation is not just recent, the crisis that we are facing. It dates back, several decades since we adopted the currency. And as for the reasons, it is just you import and then use the services of foreigners. Then if there's a gap between the two, supply and demand, then it causes your currency to depreciate. And because there has been this consistent gap between supply and demand, that is why the Cedi has been depreciating all these years. Now, the crisis we are facing now is like, it is just exposed our vulnerabilities. It's partly from the external sector and some of the uncertainties we are experiencing in the economy of late. That has accentuated the problem, but it has also exposed our existing structural